All right, everybody, welcome back to the No Cover TV podcast. That's right, I'm your host, Big Al, and I bring that original local and national music scene and I shove it in your face. I bring you the interviews and the stories. I leave it up to you to listen to the music. A lot of great music out there around the world, all genres, all age groups. Please support these artists. Go to their shows, pay the cover charge if there's a cover charge. Get the swag, get the DVDs, the CDs, the albums, the t-shirts, coffee mugs, the pins, the jackets, sweaters, everything they've got. Please support them. They do what they do because of the love of the music and putting a smile on your face. And in return, you put a smile on their face. Great stuff, great stuff. Also, I want to thank you for supporting the No Cover TV podcast. We've been doing this for a while. We're on our 168th show today, so please check out the past shows. A lot of great interviews, a lot of great stories and music, and of course, check out the future shows. We are booked solid to July. Then we'll take a month off, and then we're right back at the grind, getting the stories and the music out there. I love it. Can't get rid of Big Al that easy. Oh, not indeed. So we've got a good show for you today. We're actually going to take a little travel here. We're going to go across the country. We're going to get out of the country. We're going to Lima, Peru with Rob Hartley. How you doing, Rob?
I'm fine, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I appreciate it, my friend. Now, you're in Lima, Peru, right?
Yes. Yes, I
am. Okay. But you've got an accent. And where are you originally from?
I'm from Scotland.
You're from Scotland. Oh, man, that's incredible. How long have you been in Peru?
I've been here 15 years.
15 years. Well, you must be loving it. Everything's going good for you.
Well, you get used to it.
You get used to it. Yeah, of course. Well, Rob, you're a part of the band Lascar Sal, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to talk about that band. How long has the band been around?
Well, at the beginning of the COVID in 2020, I started composing. About 2-year lockdown, so I started composing the music. And once I'd composed 5 or 6 songs, I started looking for musicians.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a little progress between COVID and then the odd flaky musician here and there. But there's a stable band.
There's a few of them. That's funny. So now I see that you play the guitar and the bass. Are you pretty much doing all the instrumentals?
No, I'm the bass player and I compose everything.
You compose everything, and that's including the
words and all the music, and then the guitarist does his. Well, I do the composing for the guitar for all the riffs and chords, but obviously the guitarist, like the drummer, they do their own thing and the solos.
Right. Now you've got a new female singer that you brought in, haven't you?
Yeah, she's been about 5 or 6 months with us now.
5 or 6 months, and her name's Lena. How is she doing?
Yes. She's doing really well. She wasn't a singer before. She was an aspiring actress.
Oh, really?
And that time I was playing with the idea, against my better judgment, of having a male singer, and I thought I'd have a couple of pretty kind of sexy chorus girls for the show, the theatre. And she came along to the first practice and sang a little bit, and I just thought, yeah, she's got it. She was just perfect. And I spoke to her after. I said, you shouldn't be a chorus. You should be this front woman of a band.
Well, I agree with you.
And we just was from there.
Well, I agree.
So it was kind of lucky.
well, that's great how that worked out. She's got a beautiful voice. She definitely adds to the band.
Yes,
definitely.
It goes with the style. It goes with the theme and the style of the band. And she's really into the sort of theatrical side of it, and she loves the reason that the band exists, the idea behind the music and the lyrics and the whole thing. She's just really, really into it, which obviously, as you'll appreciate, is really important.
Oh, well, good. All right. Well, I'm going to put the music on a pause for a second because I want to talk about you for a minute. Can we do that?
Yeah, anything you like, no problem. problem.
All right. Well, I want to get in your head, Rob, and I want to take you on a time capsule. I want to go back I want to go back in time with you. I want to know at about 16 years old what you were listening to music-wise.
At 16, I was listening to Mountain and Cream and Uriah Heep and Jethro Tull.
Oh, amazing bands and artists. Wow, I grew up with the same. That is great.
Oh, well, that was the best of the era.
It was.
It still is.
I agree with you, Rob. So now, at 16 years old, you're jamming to these bands. You're loving them. When did you pick up a bass or your first instrument?
When I lived in Scotland, my neighbours, almost neighbours and good friends were the band Nazareth.
Really?
And yeah, they lived 20 minutes down the road from me, and they were all quite a few years older than me, but we were really good friends, and they were the first band I ever went to see live.
Wow.
And they played in Perth City Hall for about 2,000 people.
Whoa.
And I was down at the front because I knew them. And during the show, there were girls started throwing their underwear at the bass player. And I was like 16. And they were throwing bras and pants at the bass player. I thought, that's what I want to do.
That's what I want.
That's what I want to be.
I think that's why.
So I started learning to play bass.
Oh, that's great. I think that's why all of us young kids got our first guitar for the ladies.
Yeah. They're either for girls or the liars.
I agree. Okay. Well, how old were you when you started your first band or joined a band?
Well, I started playing when I was 16 after the Razor show, started learning.
Okay.
And really, I played in a covers band when I was 18, 19, playing Uriah Heep and things Free, Cream. Then I was really, really fortunate because my older sister married a very well-known musician from England.
Oh.
And he obviously played in a band called Smokey, who were really big in Britain. And he introduced me to lots of people. One of the people he introduced me to was a fella called Peter Golby, who was ex-singer of Uriah Heep.
Yes.
And we got on like a house on fire, and he gave me a start playing with him. I played with his band for 8 years until he moved to the States and kind of left everybody behind. And after that, so I had a really lucky break because I've always been aware, of every 10,000 musicians.
Yeah.
It's not the best ones who make it, it's the luckiest ones.
True.
So I had a load of luck. I knew lots of much more talented musicians than I was, but they never got a break. And I did, so I've always appreciated that.
Yeah, I guess so. That is very awesome. So how many bands were you in until you started this new project, Lascar Sal?
Oh, God, well, I was with Pete Golby for 8 years,
Okay.
and then I did a little stint with a Scottish guy called Frankie Miller,
Mm-hmm.
and then I formed my own band, and initially we were just kind of playing covers of Free and Cream and Bad Company and ZZ Top, all the kind of heavy rock blues.
Okay.
And I've always loved that kind of rock blues, but I also love heavy metal,
Right.
dramatic kind of.
Yeah.
And so it was always, I thought I was divorced 20 years ago in Scotland,
Okay.
and I came here just on a whim, really. And then I met my wife and stayed here. And I thought I'd retired from music, but when she started listening to some of the things I'd done before, she said, you should start again. You should start playing again. So I thought, well, I'll go and buy a bass. I saw the really nice bass in a shop here in the centre of Lima. I thought, okay, I'll buy the bass and it'll be nice just to sit and play in the house and do nothing else.
Right.
Then after 2 weeks, it'd be kind of nice to meet some guys, just go to a studio a couple of times a month. And I thought, no, I've got to start composing again. So going from nothing to composing was about 3 months.
Okay. Well, I'm glad your wife brought that up, because you needed to put the bass back in your hand. You just can never stop music. It's always with you.
You do, you miss it, and I'd always wanted to do something that was really what I wanted to do, not somebody else's music.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid, we're big readers in Scotland, and my mother and my father and my grandparents were all classical musicians, and they read all the classics. Wow. So I grew up reading Arthur Conan Doyle, Charles Dickens, Mary Shelley, Bram Stoker. So I always loved the sort of 19th century. And so I thought, well, I want to do my favourite band of recent years has probably been Rammstein. Oh. And I thought, I really want to do something with a bit of theatre and something really different from everybody else. But I started writing, just drawing on my memories and knowledge of sort of 19th century literature.
There you go. I like that. And I see how you apply that to your music. Now, you call the music that you're doing now steam goth metal. I like that. Yeah.
Well, when I started recording a couple of songs and put them on Facebook, I never intended to sort of to do gothic, but it was adopted. All the people who liked it were all kind of gothic people.
Okay.
So I thought, well, I'll create sort of gothic metal without trying, but obviously that's what I'm meant to do.
Right.
And because it was, I never really liked the steampunk, but I liked the style and the passion and everything.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought, well, I'm writing about this 19th century, which was gothic, and it was also the era of steam.
Yes, it was.
So I thought, yeah, okay, steam goth metal.
I like that. I like that a lot, Rob. Nice. Okay. Now I want to talk about some music. Now, the songs that you have out are singles. Do we have an EP, a full album coming out?
No, we're starting in about 4 weeks. We'll be starting to do some shows.
Okay.
And the money from that, I'm torn between doing an EP or actually going full belt and doing the album.
Yeah.
And economically, it made more sense to do the EP, but for marketing, there might be an EP and a live video.
That would be cool. That would be really neat. Yeah, I think that would be a hot ticket.
It's marketing. It's the best way to get what I'm doing out to as many people as possible with the least expense.
Right. I do know. And people out there in podcast land, some of them don't understand how expensive it is nowadays to do the craft that we do. Yeah.
Yeah, my ex-singer in Scotland plays in a really fantastic, sensational Alex Harvey band tribute.
Oh, okay.
And they're great. I love Alex Harvey. You may remember Alex Harvey.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a cover band. They're getting the same money now as they were getting 30 years ago.
Oh, no. That's not good. That's not good at all.
And the costs have increased 5 or 8 times, but what they get paid is still the same as it was, and it's probably the same in the States too.
It is. We don't get paid anything, hardly at all, whether it's the cover from the door, a small flat fee, or you got to sell tickets to your show. That's the 3 ways we do it in the States.
So, yes, that's the same.
Yeah. And what's unfortunate is the bands that play the cover songs make the most money.
I know, it's kind of sad, but there's a really big problem that I see with original bands, and it's something I've tried really hard not to copy, although it's very easy and tempting, is that, when Disturbed first came out, I was a really big fan of them. I loved what they're doing. And then within about 3 years, there were 500 bands that sounded identical.
Oh, geez.
And there's so many bands that just copy other bands. They want to be like them. They want to have their sound. They want to have their successes. And it doesn't do anybody any favors, really.
No.
I think you've got to try. And I always loved the philosophy of Frank Zappa.
Oh, good.
And it was like, I'll make what I'm good at and hope that people like it.
Right. Exactly.
That's what I'm doing. I'm making what I like and hoping people will like it.
Right. I agree. Well, you know, I'm noticing the fans you've got and stuff, and people are liking it. What do you think of the fans that you got so far liking your music?
I love that. People talk about, I love the fans and stuff, but I'm just so grateful. It's a fantastic feeling when something that didn't exist comes out of your head onto instruments and then somebody else likes it.
Yeah.
It's an amazing feeling.
It is a great feeling. It is. It does. Now let's take a quick break and tell everybody in podcast land where they can find some of your music.
Oh, okay.
Where would that be?
YouTube.
I love it. Now you've got 3 songs on YouTube, I think it is.
Yes, one with the ex-male singer, but I kept it on because it's probably my favourite song that I've written. so I've kept that on.
It is a good song.
The one that's with the male singer is called When You Come, which is basically the story of a poor girl who gets murdered by this evil guy, and then she comes back as a ghost to get revenge.
It's a great song. Yes, it is.
Yeah. Gaslight is well, it's probably the simplest, quickest one I did, but it seems to be one of the most popular. And that was really just like a victim of Jack the Ripper from her point of view.
Right. Now I like the grunginess of the guitar. Is that you or the guitar player?
It's my music and my sound, but his playing.
Okay. I love it, man. I love that sound. It's got that melodic metal, goth metal to it.
Yeah, I didn't actually set out to create a certain sound. I just wanted something that was trying to be a wee bit different from what everybody else is doing with their 7-string guitars with the bass turned up and the treble turned up and no middles. I kind of like a more traditional sound where you can actually hear the harmonic content of the guitar and things. Right. So I just kind of came across that sound. And it's such an easy sound to replicate because it's, with the EQ and the distortion, it's just a kind of really basic, natural thing, but it sounds nice.
Yeah, it does. Now, when you did these 3 songs, did you do it in a studio or a home studio? How'd you do that?
Well, I did that in the studio with a practice. They do 2 levels of recording. They'll record your practice and just do a basic mix.
Okay.
And those 2 songs are that's what they are. They're all a live recording of a practice with just a very basic mix just to get the balances between the instruments. Oh. And that's it. So they're not actually recorded like professional studio level for an album. Right. But they still sound pretty good. But again, back in the day, as you remember, everything was recorded that way. The Beatles, AC/DC, Black Sabbath, they just recorded
we did.
A little concert in the studio and mixed it.
Yeah.
And so I kind of like that, a bit more organic.
Yeah, organic. I like that. I like the analog feel. I don't care for all the computerized stuff anymore. So,
I agree entirely.
Yeah. Great. Well, I'm glad you agree, Rob. Now, you said you're going to start getting out and playing here. Is that coming up soon?
Yeah, we're just finally, with all the changes in musicians and things, I finally got the songs all completely learned and arranged. So now it's just a case of polishing them. Okay. So that when we do the first show, it doesn't sound like it's the first show.
Sure. Do you have any dates set in stone yet, or are you just kind of waiting on that?
No, I've got 3 venues who are waiting for the band, who want the band to go, and I'm waiting for one more practice, and I'll be able to say, yeah, we're going to be ready in 3 weeks.
Nice, nice. Now, when you get out, are you
10 hours more of this, and we're ready to do the show.
okay? Now, are you just going to play around Lima, or are you planning on getting farther out in Peru?
Well, I want to get to Europe.
Ah, yes.
I'd love to get States, but the visa thing it's not too bad for me, but for Latinos, my guitarist is Spanish and my drummer and singer are Peruvians.
Oh, okay.
They have a hell of a job trying to get a visa to go and play in the States, although I'd love to do it.
Yeah.
So it looks like Europe would be the more practical thing.
No, we'd love to have you here. Definitely. Your music go over great.
Well,
oh, yes. Bro.
If there's somebody would organize it and bring us there, we'd be there like a shot. We'd love it.
Well, you never know. It just might happen, my friend. It just might happen.
Well,
yes.
If somebody could organize the administrative side of it all, then we would be there, not a shadow of a doubt.
Sounds like a plan. I'm talking with some European management companies about possibly doing that, bringing some of your European artists like yourself to America. Definitely. So you're on the list.
I'd love that.
Yeah.
I want to be out playing. I'm not getting any younger, and this is the last shot I'm going to have doing something. So I want to do it as good and as well as possible. I
agree with you. Not getting any younger, brother. No, not indeed. So I want to ask you some fun questions. Can I do that?
Uh-huh.
All right.
Of course.
Oh, good deal. All right. These questions have to will pertain to a little of everything, but I want to ask you this one. You get 2 answers. A person that's alive, a person that has passed away. Who would you want to grace the stage with and perform with?
Leslie West.
Leslie West, really?
Yeah, Leslie West. And alive, I'd like to be the new bass player of Rammstein.
Oh, that would be cool. That would be great, being in front of 200,000 people. Oh, that's beautiful.
Any musician who's died, I think the first would spring out, it would be Leslie West.
Okay, that's beautiful. Now, this question, 2 answers on this one. Anywhere in the world, what 2 stages would you like to perform on?
Download Festival
okay.
and Hellfest. Download and Hellfest.
Hellfest, oh yes. Oh, you're picking the big ones. Oh my.
Well, I've seen all the good bands, but it looks phenomenal.
It does. Okay. Now, you haven't played out with this band quite yet. The previous bands that you were in, did you do smaller venues or did you happen to do some larger shows?
When I was playing with, like, Peter Golby and these people, I would think an average was kind of like 1,000 to 1,500. Okay. That was kind of typical.
Okay.
When I was doing my own stuff, it was kind of in the 300 to 500.
Okay. Now, when you're doing a show, do you like the smaller venues where the people are up kind of close and on top of you, or do you like the bigger shows where you're on that stage and they're like 10 feet away?
I like both for different reasons. I like when it's like a smaller place for 200 or 300 people when they're right in your face in front of the monitors.
Yeah.
And I love that because you've got communication and you can pick out the ones that like what you're doing and go nearer them. The ones who don't like you just have to move away a bit.
Yeah, right.
And the bigger ones, it's less nervous because you don't have that. You can't feel the eye contact.
Right.
So it's a bit more relaxing.
It is.
But this is when I was playing with my band, in Scotland, the biggest thing we ever did was a big European Hells Angels reunion.
Oh, beautiful.
In a place called St Andrews in Scotland. And it was like 1,500 Hells Angels and all the girls there.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked the band And I wish I had photos because it was one of the highlights of my career. That they said they're going to have a wet T-shirt competition.
Yes.
And they asked me to be one of the judges. So they announced the wet T-shirt competition, and I come about 30 girls ripping their clothes off on their way to the stage.
Oh, your eyes were burning, weren't they? Oh, my friend. That's one thing doing biker shows. I've done many. You don't know what to expect.
Well, you know what to expect. You just don't know when.
Right. Okay. That's a good way to put it. Very true. Very true. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Now, this question here, this might have happened to you or somebody when you were playing. Any embarrassing moments that you might have had while you were playing? Drop a guitar, string break, microphone slap you, anything?
Yes. Falling off the stage would probably count as that.
Yeah, that counts. How bad was it?
That was way bad. That was in Edinburgh, in Scotland. And it was a tiny little stage. And it wasn't flat across the front. It kind of came out like in either side where the PA system was. It kind of had like a 2-meter step out.
Okay.
And there was a smaller one in the middle where the singer was. And because we moved about, and I came to that bit, I don't know why, I just had it in my head that had an extra meter where I could step. I didn't look down, I was looking at the people. I just get passed off the stage.
So a minute you were on the stage, the next minute you weren't on the stage.
And it's one of those things that's kind of hard to make it look like you meant it. You know?
Yeah, when you step off a stage, yeah, that's kind of hard to play that one off. That's great. I love it, Rob. Okay. All right, here's another one. When you were with the other bands, and this will happen to you with the Lascar Sal band, you're on the stage, you're suiting up, you got the bass on, everybody's ready to go. You start playing that first song. You start singing that first song. You see the people moving towards you. Maybe they're dancing or moving. Maybe they're singing your songs back to you. When you see that, how does it hit your heart and make you feel?
I'd notice it more in the second song, because usually in the first song, I'm so nervous in the first song.
Oh, no.
I'm trying to hide the fact fingers are trembling. No. But if you take that to the second song, or to the last song when they're all really with you, you just absolutely love it. You just feel so grateful. And that's why, and I'm sorry to make it a longer answer, we all dress up for stage, all kind of like gothic vampire kind of 19th century clothes. And I think that's what everybody should do. I hate to see guys in metal bands, and the guys have all got cargo shorts and trainers.
Oh yeah.
I think when people give you their money to escape from the realities of life for a couple of hours, that you're due them something. You know, you want to really make the escape, so that nothing about the show is something they're going to see in the street. You know, that's why I love like Alice Cooper.
Oh yes.
Rammstein, even Pink Floyd with the lights and everything.
Oh yeah.
It's not just. I hate it when the band looks like guys just came out of the practice studio and jumped straight on the stage. I think you should make it theatre.
I agree with you. Definitely.
It's theatre. You know, why are the guys going to jump out doing somersaults with the guitars? It's not theatre. So if they're going to do theatre, do it properly.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree, Rob. That makes the show, and it makes it more memorable. Definitely. Yes, it does.
And, you know, everything in any kind of a business, the number one thing is service.
Yeah.
And if you want to do good service as a musician, you dress up funny or gothic or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're friendly. And after the show, you talk to people and take selfies and things if they want to.
Yeah.
But be a nice guy. It's not difficult to be a nice guy.
No, it's not. And I don't understand how some of these people can be real jackasses sometimes.
Well, no. You meet the role in the musician well.
Right, right. Let me ask you this question. After you've done a show, and say you've done 3 sets, 3 hours worth of music, when you get off the stage and you're done for the night, how long does it take for you to unwind before you can actually hit the sack?
Hours.
Oh,
I don't know why. I've read about it and I've spoken to people about it, but when you finish playing, it's really easy to get this kind of depression that comes over you. And I think it's maybe just the fall of adrenaline or something after the sort of anticlimax.
yeah.
And I can understand, I've never done it. I've never been into drugs and drink and stuff. But I can understand why people want to try and recapture for a moment the feeling they had when they were on stage. I can understand it because sometimes you just feel really low. And there's not an explanation for it other than I think it's maybe just the sort of come down from all the adrenaline.
I agree. I remember when I did shows and you've got thousands of people chanting your name and stuff, and then you go home and you're all alone. It is lonely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's even worse than if you'd never done the show.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the comparison between how you feel and what you were feeling an hour ago. It's kind of profound.
Yeah, I totally agree. Any memorable moments in your career that stand out?
The first time I ever played with somebody well known,
Yeah.
I was so scared. I wanted to hide behind the PA system. My fingers were shaking so much that we had to change the first song of the show to something really easy because I thought I was going to make a fool of myself.
Oh no.
And then by the time the second song came around, I was loving it. And when I finished the show, I wanted to go out and do it all over again.
There you go. There you go. Good deal. Now, this
sympathy with how people can get. I mean, I'm not a nervous kind of guy in the slightest.
No.
But that first moment when you start playing in front of all these people, and then you think about, well, why are you nervous? You're nervous because people won't like what you're doing.
Right. Right, exactly.
Don't worry about that. They wouldn't be there if they weren't going to like you. They wouldn't be there.
Right, they're there for a reason. I know. Now, these 3 songs that you have on YouTube, which are very great, who's doing the production on the video? Who's doing the videography?
The first one that's got a video. I did that just from scenes from the film Nosferatu, the original and best vampire movie.
Yes, it is.
The second 2 was just actually the cousin of my wife, who is very good on the computer, and I just selected lots of photos and she put them all together to go through the stages of the song.
Oh, okay.
When we actually do a video, it's going to be really difficult because we're not going to be spending 30 grand on a video. It's going to have to be done on the cheap. So
right.
It'll be the live video of the song with the recorded version of the song.
Okay, great. I can't wait to see the next video. I cannot wait.
So we'll be doing that as quickly as possible.
Decent. I can't wait to see the next video come out and when the EP or the album comes out. Man, I'm hooked on your music. I like it. Definitely.
You'll definitely be one of the first people to know about it. I can promise you that.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you so much, my friend. Now, future-wise, what do you see for yourself in the band in the next 5 years? Where do you want to be at?
What I'd love to do is, what my plan is to get onto the touring circuit.
Yeah.
In Europe, there's 120 odd metal festivals between May and October.
There is.
And there's 1 or 2 every weekend somewhere. And I would love to just get back to living like a gypsy, going from festival to festival and a couple of shows in between and just doing the circuit. That's what I'd love to do.
Oh, good. Well, I don't see why that can't happen. And all the rest of the band are on board with that?
Oh, yes.
Good deal, my friend. Good deal.
When you love, you'll know it, when you love playing music, you just want to get out there doing it. And I don't need to be famous. I'd like to have enough money to live comfortably, but I don't need to be a millionaire.
Right.
But I want to be, one day I'll not be here, and my kids, the only thing they'll have of me is videos and recordings.
Yeah.
So I'd like to have some good ones.
Well, yeah, definitely. I can see you doing that, leaving a legacy behind like that, definitely. Now, I want to ask this question. Once the band and you get going, you're tight as hell down the road here. If a label was to approach you, would you sign a label, or would you want to stay independent?
It would depend.
Yeah.
Obviously, the financial input, the support to do promotions and tours and things would be fantastic.
Yeah.
But not to the point where we had to change our identity or we didn't have full control of the sound.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Yeah. Don't change who you are or your music and keep full control of it. Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, and if somebody was willing to invest in promoting the band, then I'd love that, but not at the cost of losing what the music's about.
Yeah. 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 And I know a lot of the independent artists out there, if you put the grind to the stone, you can definitely do what the label's doing. Yes. But it's a lot of work.
Yes.
It's a lot of work. And
I appreciate that because, I'm the composer, the bass player, the organizer, the marketing director, the advertising director, everything.
Yeah.
That's manageable now.
Right.
Obviously, if you become a really big band like Metallica or Rammstein or something, the logistics are impossible. You need a whole team to do that. But then you can afford to have a whole team to do that.
Exactly. So for now, you're wearing many hats. Yes, many hats. So, well, Rob, we did a great interview. I appreciate you coming on the No Cover TV podcast, my friend. Thank you.
No, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. Thank you very much, and I hope we'll talk again in the future.
Oh, we will, my friend. We'll do the show again in about 6 months because I want to know what the band's up to. Yes, and maybe we can get Lena on the horn and we talk to her.
Well, again, thank you sincerely very much. It's been a pleasure to talk to you.
You too,
and I hope you can manage to edit a few interesting bits out of my, my long speeches.
Well, that's one thing I've never done since 97. I don't edit. So if it happens, it happens. It's live. And that's the best thing about it. People want to see it live because it's real. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, with bands.
Yeah.
You'd rather see a band live make a few mistakes than go and watch lip sync.
Right. We're only human. We're only human, my friend. So you stay with me, Rob. Don't you hang up. We're going to say goodbye to everybody. But everybody in podcast land, check out Rob Hartley's band, Lascar Sal, out of Lima, Peru there. So fly your butt over to Lima, Peru, and check them out. And definitely get on YouTube and check out the 3 videos on there. They are amazing songs, and I love them. And I can't wait to hear the rest of them. So everybody in podcast land, I appreciate from the bottom of my heart. I'm sure Rob does too, don't you?
Yes, very much.
All right. So we're going to get out of here. Rob, you stay with me. Don't you go anywhere. Remember, check out the past shows of No Cover TV podcast. And, of course, the future shows. We got a lot of great acts coming in, all genres, all age groups. For now. So we're out of here. Me and Rob talk to you soon. Peace, everybody. We're out of here.